Before I even get started with this commentary, I didn't even mean to stumble across this story I'm about to bring to you. What I mean by that is the previous story I just did about the kid wanting to blow up the middle school and shoot the people coming out of it. I went to look for more information about his story, and this story popped up right above it. And here I am thinking that the story I talked about was an extension, or that this story right here I'm about to talk about was an extension of that one, but they're actually two different stories in two different locations, but they almost pretty much carry the same narrative, minus the, well, actually, no, they actually carry pretty much the same narrative, now that I look at the title. But anyway, here you have these three individuals by the name of Vincent Vetramil, Brian Culinary, and Andrew Crisell. And it says that these three individuals were planning to bomb a Muslim community in upstate New York. Now, I just talked about the boy down in Georgia who said he was going to blow up a middle school and shoot any survivors who he could find. And now you have this story. They both came out almost relatively around the same time. Like, both stories were reported on January 23rd. And what's so crazy is I'm looking at the title. It says 3 men and a teenager, but I'm only seeing the 3 men. They're probably keeping the teenager's face concealed because he's but still they should put his name out there. I mean, if you're going to do the same thing with those 3 black teenagers in Delaware, I mean those 4 black teens in Delaware, do the same thing here. They were threatened to blow up an entire community. But let me go ahead and read this story. A day after a student reported a comment made during lunchtime at a school in upstate New York, 3 men and a teen were arrested and charged with plotting to attack a Muslim community about 200 miles away. Brian Culinary, age 20, Vincent Vetramil, age 19, and Andrew Crisell, age 18. So all these guys are under the age of 21. And an unidentified 16-year-old male were arrested Friday in Greece, New York. All are accused of making homemade bombs and plotting to attack the Muslim community of Islamburg in Delaware County, New York. The 16-year-old male is being classified by police as an adolescent offender, and his name and photograph have not been released. All 4 are from Rochester, New York area and have been each charged with 3 felony counts of criminal possessions of a weapon and 1 felony count of conspiracy. It was not immediately clear whether the accused had retained attorneys. Greece Chief of Police Patrick Phelan hailed the swift investigation as an example of how teaching kids to see something, say something can work. This was a nice job by everyone involved. The kids did what they were supposed to do. Security did what they were supposed to do. They involved the police very quickly and everything worked, and as a result, nobody's dead. That's a good story. It really is. Phelan said the investigation began on Friday after a student overheard the 16-year-old showing a photo of another student and making a comment to the effect of, "He looks like the next school shooter, doesn't he?" Even they recognize when white people are doing something like this, that they could be recognized as a school shooter. And that's kind of crazy because the Hebrew Israelites, when they was talking, well, not so much talking, when they were having a very open discussion with those white kids in DC, that they said y'all are most likely the next school shooters. I don't know if y'all saw the video, but when they told that to them, that group dispersed like cockroaches when the lights cut on. The student reported the comment, and school security immediately interviewed the students involved in the conversation. School security also notified Greece police, who took over quickly, expanding investigation that eventually involved the help of New York State Police, federal law enforcement, and officers from the other nearby towns. After conducting further interviews and executing several search warrants, police found 23 firearms and 3 improvised explosive devices associated with the 4 males, as well as the alleged plot to attack Islamburg. The devices are being analyzed by the FBI at a lab in Quantico, Virginia. While police would not give details about what the alleged plot against Islamburg entailed, Phelan said it appeared the plot had been in the works for about a month. 3 of the 4 males, they knew each other through their participation in Boy Scouts. The Muslims of America Incorporated, an organization affiliated with the Islamburg community, said Tuesday that news of the alleged plot spread fear and utter dismay, similar to the unease that the community felt a few years earlier when a man was convicted of hatching a separate but similar plot. The organization acknowledged law enforcement officers who thwarted the latest alleged plot and thanked the student who reported the lunchtime comment. It is beyond tragic that our nation continues to fester with Islamophobia, hate, and religious intolerance, the organization said in a news release. To bring justice and properly deter similar terrorist plots against our community, we are calling for the individuals charged, as well as their accomplices, to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We will follow these proceedings closely. Stephen Hoyt, CEO of the Boy Scouts of America Seneca Waterways Council, said that we were shocked and disturbed to learn about the allegations against these individuals. Upon learning of these reports, we took immediate action to prohibit these individuals from any future participation in the Boy Scouts of America. Am I surprised that this even happened? No. It's kind of crazy that I'm reporting on two separate incidents that pretty much bear almost the same kind of thing. And it's, just last year in November, didn't they just have a white guy shoot up a synagogue? And now you have these there's three pictured, who want to blow up an area in a Muslim community. A broke clock is right twice a day. I hate Donna with a passion. I sound like Harvey right now. But he was right about one thing. He said like the biggest terrorists in America are white males, most likely conservative leaning white males. But these liberals don't let them pull the wool over your eyes because they just as bad. They just easier at hiding it. I have a feeling they gonna punish all of them to the full extent of the law, because they're not going to allow them to just let that slide on by. Well, kudos to the person who actually overheard the conversation and said something, because if you hear something like that, you just don't let that pass on by as just casual talk. Like something like that definitely has to be reported like the minute you hear that, because you playing with people's lives right now. People's lives are in jeopardy when you hear something like that. But y'all let me know what you think about this story down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I will talk to you in the next one.